He and his brother Carmine grew up playing drums together, and now they're both world famous at their craft.
Mr. Vinny Appice!
Hi, I'm Rebecca Brayton, and welcome to WatchMojo.com. And today we're speaking with Vinny Appice. So give us an idea how you first came to follow music as your path.
Well, I grew up with an older brother, Carmine, who played drums, and in the early years, he used to rehearse in the house, and this is in Brooklyn, New York, with his band. And I was a little kid, and I would watch them rehearse, and I was amazed by all the wires and the gear and the equipment, and then the music, and you hear the live band right in the room. So that was very influential, and like on a young person. I think I was 8 or 9 years old. So that kind of got the bug going.
And what kind of music did you grow up listening to?
Well, see, when I grew up, Carmine was eventually out of the house, so he was on the road, and I listened to like Hendrix, Zeppelin, a band called Blue Cheer, and I also listened to Billy Cobham and Buddy Rich, more drum-oriented stuff. And actually, I remember when Led Zeppelin came over, Carmine had the first record, first Led Zeppelin album, and he goes, he gave it to me. He goes, "Here, this drummer's pretty good. Check him out." That's how long ago that was. That was an understatement, right? So
Yeah,
he gave me that album, and I went, "Wow, what is this?"
How do you describe your signature drum sound?
Well, my signature drum sound would be powerful, heavy, solid, kind of steady, but then with technique in it, because I went for lessons, and I'm on the technical side too, not just playing off of the cuff, like, so to speak. And I play with butt end of the sticks, so I get a certain sound that way. It's a little fatter, But a lot of people describe it as, they always tell me, "Wow, you did that roll. I didn't think you were going to make it back in." To pull it back a lot, and that's from playing with Sabbath. So a lot of the Sabbath stuff was slow and doomy, so you learn to play that way. So, but pretty heavy, described it.
Fair enough.
Heavy and loud.
Vinny Appice!
You've obviously collaborated with a lot of people, worked with a lot of bands. How does that affect your creative process?
The good thing was I kept my eyes open when I worked with different people. I mean, when I started, I actually worked with John Lennon a little bit and did a number of things with John. And I kept, just watch what he did and listened. And then I went on to play with Rick Derringer, and then same thing. I kept my eyes open. I'd never had an attitude about anything with anybody and said, "Well, no, I don't want to do it that way." And I listened to what they said, and okay, that makes sense. Try things if they suggested things on the drums. So luckily, I kept my eyes and ears open the whole time and learned, especially from Ronnie James Dio, who produced all the Dio albums. Went in and listened, and certain things I didn't agree with, but I went along with it, and then I could see why he wanted to do things certain ways. Sabbath, guys with legends. Let's see what they did, So I always learned from what my experiences were.
What were some of your favorite collaborative experiences?
They were all different and unique, The John Lennon thing was pretty cool, now that you look back at it. At the time, I was a little kid, and I just thought this was the beginning of my career. I got to work with, legendary people, which I'm fortunate and appreciate having that opportunity. Black Sabbath became the cornerstone of metal and heavy rock, and I got to play with them, and I got to play with them with Ozzy, with Ronnie James Dio, and then I got to play with Dio on his own and be part of music that was important to Ronnie, so it was a great experience for me.
He's the king of rock and roll!
So tell us about what you're working on now.
Now I got a band called Kill Devil Hill, and it's myself, Rex Brown from Pantera on bass, and 2 new guys, Dewey Bragg on vocals and Mark Zavon on guitar. They're from LA, and It's a cool band. Sounds like a cross between Sabbath, Alice in Chains, Little Zeppelin thrown in. Albums on SPV Records, comes out in May 22nd, I believe. So we're going to be out in May doing some dates. And it's a cool, really cool band. Really, it's heavy, but it's got a lot of hooks, a lot of melodic vocals on it, but still on the dark side, you know. Really good stuff.
So you're judging a competition for young up-and-coming bands. So what's the most important piece of advice that you can offer them?
To be a band, you got to listen to each other. Sometimes people don't listen to each other on stage. So you can tell if a band's really playing together well, you know, if there's certain things that the guitar player does, the drummer might pick up on. So, you know, everybody got to listen to each other. Everybody's got to be open about, you know, opinions and stuff. Be a team player, basically. That's probably the most important thing, be a team player, rather than have some sort of an attitude, and then you don't get much out of people like that. When everybody can contribute and everybody's don't think they're going to get stepped on with an opinion, it's the way you get the best out of people. So
Yeah, that applies to anything,
yeah,
not just a band.
yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.